Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, come on in. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Little late this morning, but come on in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Come on in the room. Good morning. Come on in the room. Good morning. Come on into the room. Good morning. 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 Good morning, YouTube. Let's see who's over here. Good morning. Good morning. Mm-hmm.
It's a vibe, it's a vibe, it's a vibe. It's a mood. Hey.
Hey there, hey there, hey there, hey there, hey there, hey there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. I apologize for being tardy. Apologize only because I respect your time, but I don't apologize for why I'm tardy. And I'm tardy because oftentimes I wake up right at time and come on down in an attempt to be timely. Um, and I often do not eat, and that is not okay, particularly for my health. It's not okay. It actually only makes things worse. And so for the past couple days, I've been up and down, headaches, different things, trying to get my numbers regulated. And I realize it's because I've not been eating. And so I was intentional. It was 8 o'clock and I was scrambling eggs, y'all. I took a walk this morning. I went for a 30-minute walk at 7:30 because I wanted to be intentional. And so that made me be, of course, a little late. And in the future, I acknowledge that it's something that I will govern my time accordingly. But today I was moving and am moving strictly by the Spirit and what is best for my body as I'm listening to my body and offering it gratitude. So even as we are engaging in this chronicle, you might see me put a little something in my mouth just to nourish myself. I want to normalize nourishing ourselves, not just with food, but absolutely also in spirit, and not to be apologetic for when we need to nourish ourselves. It is a part of, thank you, Nat Bishop Trisha. It is a part of our rest as resistance. That rest also includes nourishing ourselves. And for many of us, the work that we do, good morning to all of you that are joining. Good morning. Good morning to our Digi Deacon Natasha Robinson. It is good to see you here this morning. Good morning, Village Keepers. Good morning, Kanita McGee. And good morning, Rihanna Roby, always over on YouTube, holding it down. Shout out to our folks who are on YouTube. Good morning, you and Kanita. Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Candace and Tammy and Dr. Jamie and Carmen and others of you. I would invite you to go ahead and click Good morning, Mama Carolyn. It is good to see you. Miss seeing you. It is good to see you. Go ahead and share this with those that you know are usually here. Good morning, Tam. Good to see you. And so I want us to normalize listening to our bodies. I want us to stop grinding so hard or trying to meet the mark so hard that we forego these temples, these bodies. I don't want to participate in that anymore. And what kind of example? What kind of example? I read something that came over one of my screens, and someone was, stating all of the things that they had been accomplishing recently. And I read it and I was exhausted. And I was just kind of sort of wondering, like, what we celebrate when we do that. It's one thing, and I'm not suggesting that we should not celebrate accomplishments. That's not what I'm suggesting. But I am wondering, at what point, do we just acknowledge that this grind culture is not for us? Ashe. My God, today. Woo, I feel this so deeply in my spirit, y'all. And I'm also so proud of myself, right? I'm proud of myself that I paused and said, I'm about to eat. I'm about to eat. Because for those of you who've been on PRC for a long time, since 2016, you'll know that this is how we started. In the kitchen, cooking, eating, preparing. And as we started to streamline some things, we sort of moved away from our authentic space. And so I want to normalize that for you. Ashe, Ashe. Good morning, Mama Imogene. Good morning to you. Listen, good morning. Good morning. Ashe, good morning. There are a few things that I want to lift up by way of announcements before we get into this chronicle. Ashe, y'all good? We good? Ashe, and let me get my tea. Hold on. My. So, by way of announcements, this week's announcements are y'all able to hear that applause when it comes on? Are you all able to hear that sound effect? I love that sound effect, Ashe. By way of announcements, I want to remind you to continue to support our DigiDeacon, Natasha Robinson, Esquire, and $20 Tuesdays, Legalese Please. She is on sabbatical soon, if it has not started already, but we appreciate her presence here. And the next $20 Tuesday is December 6th. I see it here. December 6th, talking about the power of attorney over finances, and the final one for this year is December 13th. I want to encourage you to support this work, this hard work, and also because I'm not sure where you are going to find this kind of advice for $20, right? And I love our siblings so seriously. And I know that she is making this accessible, attempting to make this accessible to many of us for various reasons. And yet at the same time, I'm like, we can't. Come on, Glittery Smurf. You got you some hash browns in the air fryer right now. That's what I'm talking about. And yet I also know that, what in our community, in our attempt to make something accessible, that we oftentimes have to undersell ourselves. And so this is a labor of love. She does not ask me to put this up here. She does not ask me to ask you all anything. This is solely from me. This is from my heart, because she is such a profound part of our community and such a profound person, and does so, out of the goodness and the kindness of her heart. And as an act of reciprocity, I want to give back what she has given. And I want to also say that if you got more than $20, that I encourage you to give it. Ashe. Yeah, because it's worth that. There is nowhere really that I know that you can get professional advice at this level for $20. I don't know it. I really don't know it. I don't know it. And so for those who can, and for those who will, please register for this important offering. Ashe. A second announcement. Our second announcement is today at is it 5:30 p.m. I can't see y'all on the. Oh wait, I guess I could look up here. Bear with me, y'all. I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm moving. I'm moving. Today at 5:30, between 5:30 and 7 p.m. Somebody tag Dr. Chayla and make sure she's on here, Chayla Belcher. If you emailed me, if you PayPal me, I've already sent you the link that you need. There are only a few spots. Mama Dr. E.T. Hart does not want this to be a huge offering, but wants a more intimate setting so that we can engage in conversation and actually do the work. So there are only a few more spots available to cap that. But if you are interested, excuse me, if you are interested, please go ahead and send your $75 to your Cash App to the cash tag Sankofa, SANKOFACSPE, Sankofa CSPE. And then email etihari, ITIHARI, at sankofacspe.org to receive the link. Now, I know that there are several things going on at the same time. I know Dr. Daniel Black is having a conversation around his book because you know that the Steph Curry book club picked up Dr. Black's latest book, Don't Cry for Me. So there's some of you who will be at that conversation, and I encourage you to do so. This conversation will not be recorded on Ancestral Wisdom Water, so it's kind of, you got to be there, right? It's no, well, this is me talking. I haven't even talked to Dr. Teray. Natasha or Carmen or Carlene, one of you, will you tag, here, I'll do it. Okay. I tag Mama Itihari for her to come on. Hey, Doc Baba is on here. Greetings, greetings, greetings. And so I want to encourage you all. You know, here's the beauty as we, move into this. The beauty is that look at all of the offerings that the spirit and our ancestors is providing for us for our to nourish our spirit. Look at all of the offerings. And there are many. And there are many. And for those of you who have more than one device, honey, you could get on both of those devices. I encourage. So shout out to our community, to Baba Omatosho, Dr. Daniel Black, to Elder Mama Dr. Itihari Toure, to Natasha Robinson Esquire. These are our weekly announcements. And I'm just glad to be here, and I'm glad to see you. Ashe. Oh, one more announcement, shout out. Today I have on my Woman is AF shirt. Thank you for those of you who have been putting in orders. I want to encourage you to support me. Yeah, God. Support me. Support me. drmelvasampson.com/shop, SHOP. drmelvasampson.com. I'm sure one of the DigiDeacons will put it on here. drmelvasampson.com/shop. This week, I'm proud to say that we fulfilled our 100th order, and it gave me great pleasure that our 100th order was made by none other than one of our DigiDeacons and my good friend, the Reverend Carmen White Yanak. Sis, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And that it was for your Queen Mother. Thank you. Yes, to have 100 orders of anything is really a blessing. And I thank you all. It's been over the course of 2 years or so that we've launched and to get to this point. So I want to encourage you, if you don't have any PRC merch, if you are interested in message tees, if you want your own, I can't get up, but my PRC mug is over there. Go ahead and get in. And I just restocked these purple shirts, and so they should be back in stock. And so, yes, I invite you all to join and to support us in that way. So, I want to say a little bit about, thank you for letting me ease in. I'm going to take off my pink robe now because I'm hot. It is Advent. This is the season of Advent. And for those of you who are new to this space, welcome to Pink Robe Chronicles. Um, Let me start by sharing that those sermonic purists, the homiletical purist, would say that a sermon is only a sermon when the text is the gospel. And by gospel, they mean the biblical gospel, the text that is found in the Bible, which is a text that is widely seen as divinely inspired, human written, that governs and guides the lives of believers. It is taught by many a homiletician that one is not preaching, that there is no sermon unless the word, capital W, unless the word, capital W, is the center. I am not a homiletical purist, though, if you could not tell. And the reason why the reason why we identify ourselves as Pink Robe Chronicles is because what is important for me is to offer an account, right? An important account of events that we experience collectively and individually. And many times that includes centering the biblical text as a person of faith, as one who identifies as an African centered, Afrofuturist womanist, practical theologian, homiletician, and believer. Many times I am centering that text, the word, and many times I am often centering texts that are written by those particular intersections that are ancient in the sense of ancient to the core of who I am and who we are, who I believe us to be as a collective. That means that even I identify Toni Morrison's text "Beloved" as ancient. I identify Baba Omatosho, Dr. Daniel Black's text of "The Coming" and "Don't Cry for Me" as ancient, because you cannot write such profound things and not be in touch with the ancient. Come on, just walk with me. We going somewhere. You cannot provide such profound offerings, Ashe, and not be in touch with the ancient confidence. There is an ancient spirit, an ancient presence and power. And so, for those of you who require, for those of you who require a certain type of purity of text, you may find yourself frustrated in this community. And for those of you who understand that the canon is not closed, my God, today. For those of you who understand that the canon is not closed, I see my elder is on here. Woo, Mama E.T. Hari and Baba Omo. Let me just say, you all, I'm just going to take my time. So for those of you also who are linear thinkers, who have to start at A and end at Z in a straight line, you'll probably also be frustrated with the way that I pause and stop, start and stop, because you just will. But for those of you who have the ability to listen beyond that, right? When I just saw her name, you know how when you see your mama's name or somebody that you care greatly for, you see them, you just feel like your help is coming. You feel like your help has arrived. And I feel like my help has arrived when I see many of your names. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Listen. So there are ways in which we oftentimes, I think, in our in the ways that we have been socialized and in the ways that we have assimilated now. And even though we remade a kind of Christian practice blended with our African spiritual traditions, and even masking in the slave owners religion, and remaking in our folk traditions, in our invisible institutions, within our hush harbors, there are ways, unfortunately, that many of us remain or become now so tethered to the witness, or so tethered to the way that we receive truth, that we can't hear. So I just wanted to sort of set the context, for why some folk might be like, so what's really going on? What are we really doing here? Before I go any further, I do want to acknowledge my ancestor, Annie Inez Stewart McNeil, excuse me, Annie Inez, my goodness, Annie Inez Stewart McDonald McNeil Atkins. Ashe, this is my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. I spoke her name on last week, and I just wanted to show her picture here. The date of her transition is December 6, 2002. And I speak her name so she never dies. But I wanted to offer her picture here to let you know how much I love my grams. And shout out to my great grandmother up above, Mamie McDonald, whose transition anniversary was a few days ago as well. So in light of what I've just shared, friends, I want us to consider, and I want us to think about Advent in this way. Advent, for those of you who are just joining, and for those of you who are not familiar, and for those of you who are not Christian, for those of you who did not grow up in church, and maybe you did grow up in church, and in your growing up from church, in church, you still, if you're like me, you never really heard of Advent. Advent, it means the coming. It means the anticipation of waiting for. And so Christians around the world acknowledge Advent, which are the 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas, as a way to wait with great anticipation at the birth of Christ. Certainly not the historical birth date of Christ, because we know that Jesus was not born in December. But this sort of memorializing of the birth, of the entering into the world, the promise of God becoming Emmanuel, one of us, through Jesus, as God often becomes one of us through us. That's another conversation, that's another chronicle. And so we wait with great anticipation as we wait for the birth, for the entry, for the promise, because we know that this promise that enters into this world will provide for us a model, will provide for us faith, hope, peace, and love. These are the 4 principles of Advent. And so those believers who are gathered, who gather around, who gather in community to wait for the light to enter such a dark world, such a world that is frozen in time by violence, by inequity, frozen in time by the forgetfulness of history and its participation in the degradation and the denigration of groups of people. We wait for the birth, the entry. We wait for that glimpse of hope, that glimmer that will rescue us. And similarly, not only do we wait at Advent, not only do we wait for the entering in of the Christ child, we then also look beyond the death, right? So it's like we're looking at the birth, but then we are also looking toward the resurrection. It is a way in which it is, we said last week, it is the already but the not yet. And so we wait then again for the coming and the return. At Advent, we are waiting for 2 things. We are anticipating the coming, the already, and we are anticipating the not yet, which is the resurrection. But we are the not yet in the Advent story. Us are the not yet in the Advent story, because we are the resurrection, another chronicle. So here we are on the 2nd Sunday of Advent. And the theme this Sunday is around peace. And there are some beautiful scriptures around how the one who is chosen is coming to speak against empire in Isaiah, to bring equity and to bring equality and to tear down systems of oppression. And as a result of reading this, I'm just going to take my time and walk through this, y'all. And as a result of reading this, then we find the ability to see that we too, our hope then for peace rests in the one who is coming, and we take that as a model to know that we've not been left in this broken world alone. Am I on it? For those of you Advent purists, am I on it? Am I on it? Okay. But this morning, y'all, I found my peace in another text. I found my peace in another text as I was preparing to share the Matthew text about John entering in and calling us to repent. I was scrolling Instagram and I paused on a text because those are texts also. And I want to share it with you. And you might hear a little bit of an echo in my sharing because I need to listen with you all as well. And there's a little bit of a lag. But I want to share around this theme of between elevated and terminated. And I'm using this morning, well, I'm just going to play the clip and then I'm going to talk to you why I'm using it. And then we're going to go head over to the clearing. Ashe. We're not even going to stay over here long because the kind of conversation we need to have, we need to be able to, even if we don't see each other's faces, we need to be able to see the boxes, right? And I know that this is a contentious conversation right now, but the way the Spirit has moved in on me, my God. So let's hope that this clip plays. Let's go.
About and what I'm going to do, and I like for y'all to hear it from me and not from anyone else. It is what it is. Either in coaching, you get elevated or you get terminated. Ain't no other way.
Natasha, let me know that
Either
you
elevated
all can hear this.
or terminated.
And
And
see
it
it.
ain't no graveyard for coaches where they die at the place. It don't work like that. They either gonna run you off or you gonna walk off upon your own recognizance. I've chosen to accept the job elsewhere next year. I'm gonna finish what we started. We're gonna dominate. I'm gonna be here to that end and that conclusion. And then when that conclusion, we will move on. Now, what I don't want you to do is thinking something is better on the other side in regards to some of you. I would like to have the opportunity to meet with some of you so you don't go and jump in the portal and you die in the portal. I don't want that to happen because some of y'all thinking it's simplistic like that, and it's not. That portal will be loaded on, is it Monday, fella? Yeah. Monday. The portal opens, be loaded, and they're gonna call and they're gonna ask, because that's what we've done for some of y'all when we were trying to acquire y'all. We called and we asked your coaches, anyone we knew, what kind of character, what is it? And I don't want you thinking, since you have the Jackson State awards on you, that people are just gonna flock to you and they're gonna lace you like that. This is one of the best universities, I believe, certainly in FCS, that you could have an opportunity to play at because of all the bells and whistles and these particular things that we brought here. And I'm trying my best with this wonderful gentleman to help choose this next guy for you. My recommendation goes to TC. They know how I feel about TC. I want TC, and several of the staff members are going to be retained here, but that's mine. I would love for someone in-house, because I don't really know how y'all would act with somebody outside the house coming in to really not understanding how we function and how we get down. So that's my recommendation. So just clap it up for TC. Hope I hope that's how it goes down. But that's not his sole decision. So don't put it on him. He has a hierarchy that he must go through for that to happen, right? AD, I would not be here if it weren't for this man. With all, you have no idea the trials and tribulations that we stood back to back and worked out for some of the things that you don't even know about, some of the things that y'all have no idea about. And I'm not tired of fighting whatsoever, but if I heard God's voice on coming, don't second guess of my hearing ability. I know God, and I know when he shifts, and I know when he moves, and I know how he gets down with me. I always questioned things when I was a player. How can you be so dominant and have to play for 5 football teams? That don't make sense to me. I ask God that often, but then I had to understand when he's taking you from faith to faith, from glory to glory, and allowing you to provoke change in different places. That's why he would allow me to play for 5 darn football teams and 4 baseball teams, because it doesn't supposed to happen like that. But I understand the calling that he has on my life. And I feel like I got to do something about it. It's been 4 or more African-American head coaches at the next level that has been terminated. I haven't heard not one other than a candidate like myself to replace them. So to me, that's a problem that many don't think about, but that's a problem. If someone don't step up and step out and hold it down for us, there's a problem. And many of detractors, I guess they don't understand college football consists of 70% African American. I don't care where you at. It just happens to be more at a HBCU. But it's not like I'm not gonna speak into the lives of young African American men and women alike, because my challenge is still to provoke change no matter where I am. And I'm gonna be me. I'm 55 and I don't plan on changing no time soon. God made me like this, and I think God is pleased with what he's created. This is probably the toughest moment for me ever, because it involves y'all. If it didn't involve y'all, I'm out. But when I talked about his story and understand some of you all's stories that I've come to know, and just seeing the progression and seeing what 11 did out there today, and just seeing what some of you guys have climbed to, is darn believable. And that's the thing that got me. That's the thing that's holding me hostage, is y'all faces. And not only y'all, but the equipment team. I'm gonna let you make it today, baby girl. I'm gonna let you make it. The equipment team, the training staff, the media staff, the photography staff, the GAs, the CU Jan, everybody included. The documentary team as well. This ain't easy. And it's not about a bag. I've been making money a long time and I ain't nowhere near broke. So it's not about a bag, but it is about an opportunity. So I always felt like if you dominate your opportunity and you treat people right, the bag is gonna always come. I never chased the bag. A bag has always chased me, because I've always tried to make the right decisions and do the right thing regarding people, regarding decisions, regarding life. It hadn't been too many times where I was meant to stay right and I took a left. Maybe a couple of marriages, I take that back.
All right, all right.
I'm sorry. But any questions you have, I know this is a
Ashe. Ah, between elevated and terminated. When I think about Advent, when I think about peace, this particular text has ministered to me. I want to admit that I was one, didn't voice this publicly, but certainly to my partner, because I felt a way about why do HBCUs have to always be a springboard, and why is it that when we get to HBCUs we have to leave HBCUs to go to a larger platform. And I won't say that I'm not totally struggling with that still. But one of the things that Spirit spoke to me as I was sort of asking this question out loud was that you are still seeing HBCUs as many of us still see our own history. You are still working from a place of deconstruction and not from a place of construction. Wherein you, by making this dichotomy, you are choosing to see that HBCUs are less than. So my response was, because that's how many in the world see us. And Spirit responded in a voice that is much like my own, because it was mine. But just because that is how the world sees does not mean that that is the actual case, that that is fact. So I was invited to then sort of shift my thinking to see Jackson State or any of our HBCUs as reputable institutions that are on par and online. We know maybe not financially, but certainly in the services, in the degrees, in the professors, in the extracurricular activities, we understand us to be the same as, not from a diminutive point. And so that this was the first sort of lesson that sat on me, was inviting me to stop seeing us as a springboard, but to see us as, to see a springboard as negative, but to see us as good, fertile ground, that can stand next to, up and against any other institution. But what really took me out, friends, where I want to hang a little hat today, is the first thing that Coach said. Is he said, there is no place where coaches go that you are either terminated or you are elevated. And I could not go any further. I probably have listened to that opening in the last hour no less than 10 times. I just kept stopping and starting and stopping and starting, because I know that there are those of us here right now who really get that, who are sitting right in that position. And I'll be dang on if that's not really Advent. Advent is about folks who are sitting in liminal space, who are betwixt and between, and who are looking toward a new coming, who are trying to anticipate something that would move us beyond the liminal space. But what we don't know is the blessing that's in, oftentimes in liminality, because liminality excuse me, because liminality has been framed as negative. Liminality has been framed as wishy-washy. Liminality has been framed as just kind of sort of hanging in the balance. But liminality can actually be a position where one takes up to be able to see beyond what a system or an empire will allow it to see. My goodness, today. Yeah. So he said that coaches, many coaches, and I want to encourage us to expand our level of understanding, and I want you to replace coaches with whatever your system is. So to help us, I'm going to choose to talk about preachers and professors. I say that in the system, in systems of hierarchy, and systems of hierarchy that are within religious institutions and the academy, you are always moving in between elevated and terminated. If you are not elevated, meaning if you do not reach the level of ordination, if you are in a Methodist tradition, if you do not reach what are those levels? If you don't reach deacon, if you don't reach full connection, is that it, Dr. Candace? If you don't reach full connection, if you are in the Baptist tradition, if you are not ordained after a period of time because there's not a church that is seeking you out, if you are a professor, if you do not move successfully through the tenure process, meaning if you do not first attract and receive a tenure track contract, if you do not first make it through your first 4 years, your first review in 4 years successfully, if you do not then move, if you move beyond that successfully, excuse me, and make it toward actually being tenured, and then you're associate, and then from there you become full. What coach is saying to us is that, listen, there are only two things that happen, and it is either one is elevated or one is terminated. I cannot hear nobody today. I cannot hear nobody today. You either elevated or you're terminated. Can we pause right there? Can we pause? And most of the times, what gets celebrated is the elevated. And what we are left to carry is being terminated with no middle in between. So as I'm listening to this text, and I'm now framing sort of my anticipation for the relief, I recognize that the relief, because nobody ever wants to be relieved from being elevated. Come on, and y'all not, y'all, yeah, we gonna tell the truth, or we gonna, what? No. Yep, I'm going there, Pamela. You already see where I'm going with this determination. Put a pin right there. Put a pin right there. Pamela helps us get there fast because she goes right to the point. She already knew where I'm going. That what he added in there, though, was the determination. Ashe. That in between termination and elevation is the determination to move through a system, to move through, or the determination, right, to be free enough to determine what your future is going to be. Can I share with us that the person who has the most negotiating power at the table is the person who has the ability to get up and walk away from the negotiation. I just. Are we there? Are we there? I'm trying to go back and find Natasha. Can you repost Pamela Wood's comment for me, please? It went up and I can't see it anymore. But I want to reference it again. Hold on. I think she's getting ready. She's gonna repost it for me. I'm waiting 1 second because I need Pamela Wood's comment. Yeah. I need my VUU sister's comment. So, as I'm waiting for that comment to come, because, hold on, let me see if I could just go grab it 1 second. Here it is. Thank you. Elevation or termination, but he added determination as a third spoke to determine his journey of the existing system. This is, right? This is for me typical Advent. That there has to be a level of determination to what our journey will look like in the existing system. And many of us, just as he is now, are ridiculed for how we have determined what the journey looks like in the current system. Yeah. Many of us, right, are in the liminal space, which is not a impoverished space, which doesn't have to be, excuse me, an impoverished space, but which can be an opportunity for building, which in and of itself is a kind of elevation. But this level of determination that is required to shift our imagination so that we can reimagine, it is a futurist move that he is not only seeing himself in the future now, but he is futuring the way for other players. We are often always between elevation and termination. We are often always, and it is determination, as Pamela Wood provides for us, as that third spoke that shows us, as Michael Elam would say, how to shift. This was a shift. What Coach Prime did is he shifted right in the middle, and oftentimes the shift will be unpopular. The shift will be unpopular to many because many won't understand why you're shifting. Because on the outside, many will think that you're either you being a sucker, or many will think that you don't value extra. They'll have many reasons. But if you go further along, I want to jump ahead of some points that I have. He says, listen, don't second guess me because I know God. Theo said, I heard God's voice. I know God, and there's no second guessing. Wow. Is that not a place to stand? Yeah, that's that determination. You can be determined the way that we move through a thing, or even determined in our anticipation, in our weight of something, to help affirm so that we don't get to doubting and second guessing the voice of the Most High, the voice of the Spirit, the voice of the ancestors. Because sometimes, right, in this liminal space, we have our stations, we have our ears tuned to the wrong stations. And in that tuning, we start taking on everybody else's issues when clearly this text says, listen, I heard the voice. I know the voice, and I'm not second guessing the voice. That this moment, this opportunity was necessary in order for me to elevate. That's some of us, right? Some of us are absolutely on that trajectory. And then others of us are saying, well, where's the voice for me? Because I didn't elevate, but my situation was a terminate. Oh, shoot. Listen, y'all better help me preach this. And Coach Shayla said, y'all better write this down, because we got termination and elevation. And then we have determination as the third spoke. And then Coach Shayla just said, and now we need to add revelation. This is so good. We got revelation. You see the beauty in choosing some and getting some contemporary text. You see the beauty in shifting. I mean, it's important then for us. He got revelation, right? So between also for Advent, right, is our positioning. We're being positioned, right, to receive so that it can be revealed. You can't experience a coming. You can't anticipate unless it be revealed to you so you know that it is here. Come on, somebody. Whoo! Then he goes on to say, he says to the team, now I'm not a big sports person, but I have a few nephews who have experience with this portal thing. And he says, listen, don't go putting yourself in the portal thinking that it's going to be better for you. He said, because some of y'all ain't ready for the portal. My God, today. Some of y'all ain't ready. He said, because listen, I know what's going to happen. Some of y'all about to get scared. Some of y'all about to get scared. And you think it's time to jump ship. So you're going to jump into the portal to see what other schools are looking for you, what other schools might come checking for you. He said, but some of y'all, it's not time for you to be in the portal because you're not ready to handle the portal. And I don't want you to get into the portal because you're thinking that somehow, some way you're going to get better. You're not going to get better than what we've already built here. And that's because I know that we have put our time and our space and our gifts in this particular program. So for you to go looking for another program, you're not going to find it because everybody already knows that this was the best program. But isn't that what we do? Isn't that often what we do? I'm talking to myself. I've been trying to jump in the portal, y'all. I've been trying to get in the portal. Let me get in the portal, child, because this ship is sinking. This ship has sunk. This ship is shipwrecked, baby. Let me get in the portal. Primetime said, y'all not ready for the portal because you still got work to do here. And that just because I'm elevating, doesn't mean that you need to come with me. This is my work that I have to do, y'all. Y'all. He didn't say that the portal ain't never gonna be for you. He didn't say that. He did not say that to them. He said that the portal, he said, right now, this program is the best thing for you. Why? Because I built it with you in mind. Listen. 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 You can't walk through everybody's portal. Excuse me, y'all. You can't walk through everybody's portal. Because some of us don't have the experience. Hello. Can I be churchy? Can I just be churchy for a minute? Just let me be churchy. Just let me be churchy for 1 minute. Some of us just simply don't have the anointing, the ashe, to walk through certain kinds of portals. And so because we listen to so many, Jesus, because we listen to the voice of others who tell us because such and such was elevated, we should be frustrated about our termination, and we lose our determination, which affects our ability to receive revelation. Here we are attempting to walk through other folks' portals. Child, good night. Good night and wonder. I'm not playing with y'all today. I'm not going to play with y'all today. I'm not going to play with us today. And that, friends, is why everybody then puts their mouth on your journey. Because you not comfortable with the journey. I'm talking to myself. I'm saying you, but I'm really talking to me. But the minute you get clear, the minute, Natasha, you have the ability to tell your own story. The minute you recognize that you are the author, baby. Hey, my God, today. Yes, Pamela, I needed this today. I was struggling not to keep him hostage, as he pointed out, me too, to build an HBCU conglomerate portal to elevate all HBCUs. Yes, 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 yes. Same. Me too. Listen. The minute, Irie, you get clear. And that's what Dion got. He got clear, y'all. He said, hold up, wait a minute. He said, there have been very few times when I knew I needed to be going right and went left. Very few times. He said, I know God. I know God. I know what God sent me here to do. I know what my work has been. And then this is a message that Mama E.T. Hari gave me when I first came to North Carolina. Because I always wanted to saw myself at an HBCU for my people. And that is, where my heart wanted to be. And if the right one comes along with the right circumstance and the right finances so that I can live, especially since these student loan forgiveness plans are now on halt, then yes, we would be, having a conversation. He said, but listen, I will still be talking to and mentoring and being in the lives of many African American students or African diaspora students. I remember Mama Itihari told me when I was just really opining about moving, she said, Melva, you have to move. This is your elevation. You have to move because there are those of us there who need you. There's no voice there, and your voice is needed, and they need you. We are to be present in every space, place, and time. I was fighting that elevation though. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Friends, I'm telling you, this is a text. Let me rush on though. Let me rush on. The other thing that we find in this text is Prime said, I know God and I know God's voice. And then he said, I'm 55 years old and I'm not going to change. Hold on. Let me pause. Let me pause right quick to read this from Dr. Torre. And let us not put these four realities in a linear order. Elevation does not necessarily come before determination, nor does termination come after elevation. One can experience revelation and then termination. You better say it, mama. You better say it. Let me put a pin right. Let's just put a pin right there. Oh, I wish I could bring her on screen. That's why those of you for those few seats that are left for this ritual tonight, you need to get them. You absolutely need to get them. Let me put it up here on the screen for you right quick while I keep talking about this. Listen, this is so I want to read it again. And let us not put these four realities in a linear order. Elevation does not necessarily come before determination, nor does determination come after. Sometimes, okay? Sometimes, ah, ah, ah. A moment of silence. A moment of silence. A moment of silence. Natasha, can you find it for me again? It left my screen. Let me go over here as Natasha finds that to my YouTube. Yes. Yes, Miranda. Yes, Rihanna. I see you. Miranda said to determine and negotiate how to shift so they don't exterminate or neutralize us for being valuable to our own communities. Yeah. Yeah, help us because it ain't that I'm not anointed, but I wasn't anointed for that portal. Yeah. Did y'all find it again for me, Mama Itihari? Yeah. Thank you. Darn, it left me again. Y'all, hold up 1 second on commenting. Natasha, do it one more time. One more time, please. And I guess I could probably pin it if you do it one more time. Thank you, Kenya. Natasha, do it for me one more time and I'm going to pin it. Please. OMG. That's it, Irie says. That may be the reason for the termination. One more time, y'all. One more time. I'm waiting for this because there's something in there. Okay, here it is. Pin. Oh, why isn't it let me pin it? No, I don't. I want to pin it. Oh, come on. Why you not letting me pin this, friend? Okay, I can't pin it, but you see it again, right? Hold on. Now my three little dots ain't let me pin. Hide the comment. No, I don't want to block. I don't want to delete. I want a pen. See, it's too hard. But listen, and let us not put these four realities in a linear order. Elevation does not necessarily come before determination, nor does termination come after elevation. One can experience elevation at the same time. Ashe, ashe. There's something about finding comfort in your own journey, the way it unfolds. Something about not having to explain because you heard Spirit's voice and don't take the job. Thank you, Natasha. There is something about that, right? You can experience revelation and then termination, or as someone said, you can experience them at the same time. And the beauty of this is that Prime Time goes on to say that God is pleased with what God created in him. He says, listen, I'm 55 years old and I'm not about to change. And I believe that God is pleased. What would it look like if we really believe that God is pleased with what God created in us, or that God is pleased with us as God's creation? What kind of revelation do we need to receive to understand that God's pleasure in our ability to understand who we are and whose we are, in our determination to recognize which portals are ours to walk through? Now, here come Dr. Brenda Perry Wallace. Now, listen, we got elevation, we got termination. Between elevation and termination, we have the third spoke of determination. We recognize via Coach Shayla that our determination should lead us to revelation. And Dr. Brenda said, and revelation will lead us to transformation. You see, y'all, you see how y'all just preached this sermon today. And friends, that is the good news, that the second coming, the anticipatory act, leads to transformative power. And this is why he ends, because when we are transformed, what do we understand? This part reminded me of Dr. Irene. When we are transformed, then this is what he said, that right here is the ending of the whole thing. He said, I don't never chase a bag. He said, it's the opportunity. And when the right opportunity comes, the bag follows me. Drop the notebook, friend. He said, I never had to chase a bag because I try to treat people in a particular way. And friends, can I just say this from experience? Sometimes, oftentimes, probably all the times when we are terminated, if we are not in situations like Prime Time, where he said, I've been making money for a long time, the first thing we will go to is to try to figure out how to secure the bag. Because what we realize is we don't want to go to that liminal space, that space where we're feeling imbalanced, where we're feeling not steady, where we're in betwixt and in between. But it is in that liminal space I want to offer that we are able to see the opportunities clearer, and that we are able to understand which are our portals to walk through. It is in that transformative space that we recognize that we don't have to be out here pimping other people or hoeing ourselves, if you will, just to get a bag, but we will recognize that our ashe and our anointing will always pull the opportunities to us. And as the opportunities are pulled to us, as a result, that the bag is always coming. Can I get a witness up in here? Listen. I don't chase the bag. That's essentially what Dion is saying. He said, I don't chase the bag. I'm leveraging opportunities. Period. I am leveraging, but see, we need to reimagine termination. That's where our futurist work needs to happen. We need to deal with termination, especially deal with the threats or the fear that being terminated does. And what does it mean to be terminated from empire? Because is that not what Jesus came for? Is that not the ultimate? I don't know. Somebody, I mean, Barbara, is that not the goal to be terminated? Yeah, I feel like it might be, but because of this watered down belief system, this watered down Christianity that is intimately tied and unfortunately, inextricably linked to capitalism and to whiteness, to patriotism, and to all of the other interlocking systems of oppression that have reduced this figure, God as one of us, in the form of Jesus, to a genie in a bottle that is only for some of us that will make this confession that he is the Lord of all, even though as God, the creation who has created people all over the world into different traditions and belief systems, but that this one being has come to, yes, save the world. But the way that you have to confess is by denying your very culture and traditions, because they are seen as antithetical. It is the way in which, come on, somebody, it is the way in which we have, we need to problematize our connection, because if we are truly, really following the God in us, the God that becomes us, if we are truly following the model of Jesus, then it would seem to me that the goal would be not only to be terminated from empire, but to do away with empire altogether. And so then, for those of us who stand in the very seat of termination, might I offer you the work of Stephen Lewis and Kimberly Daniel in their text, A Way Out of No Way? Might I offer you, as you sit in this anticipatory season, their definition of Christian innovation, where they say, on, I believe it's like page 14 or 16, where they say that Christian innovation is the ability to call forth ingenious grit in the most challenging times. And that's it, friends. There it is. We are being called to call forth, to pull forth this ingenious grit that is not outside of us, that is literally inside of us, that is literally a part of our community, that is already in the room, that is already in the house, that when we see who we are, that when we identify our gifts, we won't be concerned about being terminated from systems who do not value us, from systems who only see us as workhorses, from systems who are not concerned about our creativity, but are only concerned about how much we can labor and produce on their behalf, and churches included. I want to tell you that the joy of this season and this text for me is to know that I'm in between termination and elevation, that I am in between, and as a result, I'm determined to stand flat-footed in it, not to run from it, not to go rush to a portal that is not for me, that I don't even have the anointing to be in, if you will, but to wait, because I know that the appointed time, I know because it has been revealed, I know because that revelation has transformed me, that I don't have to chase any bag, that my needs is going to be met, that I'm going to be able to work according to my desire. That is the joy of the season. And as a result, I got peace. As a result, I got peace. And that, friends, is the peace that passes all understanding. There it is. There it is. There it is right there, friends. That is the peace that passes all understanding. Let me make sure my stuff is plugged in for us. All of my systems is saying that they are disconnected. Hold on. It's the peace. My God, today. Lord, are you serious? Wait a minute, y'all. Hold on. It's the peace. It's the peace. It's the peace. It's the peace. My God, today. My God, today. Ashe. Listen. If you want to have more discussion about this, I want to invite you over to the clearing. Ashe, as we'll just spend a few more moments engaging this and hearing what your conversation is, hearing what your reflections are. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I want to thank you in advance, and I want to invite you to consider giving to our community, that we might continue to work, to continue to do the work. Ashe, you can give to us via PayPal. My God, I'm so, woo, this thing got me. Ha! You can give to us via PayPal. Ashe, ashe. Oh, my God, today. You can also give to us via Venmo, which is Melva-Sampson. Melva-Sampson. Ashe. You can also give to us via Zelle, which is Dr. Melva Sampson at gmail.com. Dr. Melva Sampson at gmail.com. We appreciate you. Remember this week's announcements. I'm headed on over to the clearing. Natasha, I couldn't get it into YouTube, but can you please go ahead and copy it? So much is going on. Oh, wait, I got it. I think I got it. Ashe, hold on. Got it. There it is. There it is for all who are able and who desire to join. Thank you so much. And remember, shop with us at drmelvasampson.com/shop. Go ahead and get you some merch so that you can wake up on Sunday mornings and be in your Pink Robe Chronicles gear as we journey together. I love y'all, and I'll see those of you all who will be on